position, and just begin to organize our bodies and stack your joints. Let your attention move inward. This might be by letting your eyelids become heavier, closing your eyes, putting your fingertips or your palms down onto the earth. Feels good for you, then by all means doing so. Relax your face. Relax your jaw. Just begin to notice the rhythm of your breath at this time. And just beginning to let the breath become deeper and longer. Thinking about filling up with all that is good and helpful and useful, and letting the exhales be a release of letting go of what might be stale, old, expired. Notice where you're holding tension and see if you can soften in those places a bit. And then let's softly let the eyes open fully. Let your hands come onto your knees and begin to round your back. Let your chin come in towards your throat. And then draw your heart space forward. Round your back. And bring your heart space forward, all the while connecting with the unique rhythm of your breathing. So we're just moving the spine here a little bit. The shoulders and the elbows might be getting involved. Let's go another round here. And then the next time that you're coming forward, begin to let the spine round, let your chin come in towards your throat, walk your hands forward. Take a few deep breaths here in this gentle forward fold. And then begin to walk yourself up just about halfway. We're gonna walk our hands over to one side, framing the knee. Get long in your spine and then begin to come over. You might begin to plant your palms or your forearms. It'll depend on your flexibility. And flexibility is not a goal here. We're just trying to create some space in the body with our breath and movement. Begin to bring yourself up nice and slow. Here we're going to walk over to the other side. So just frame up the other knee, square your shoulders a little bit, and begin to come forward. And if you're anything like me, it's a big difference from one side to the other. Deep breathing in and out through your nose. Filling up with all that is nourishing and releasing whatever might be expired, not useful. Begin to bring yourself back to center and up nice and slow. Stack your shoulders over your hips, your ears over your shoulders. Let's give those shoulders a roll. Connect your breath with your movement here. And then let the hands come down by the sides. We're going to extend the legs out. We're going to bring them somewhat wide. You don't have to go to as wide as you can here. You might move the flesh of the inner thighs back. I'm snap, crackle, popping over here. Bring your fingertips out in front. Lift your heart space and begin to come forward. So no striving, straining of any kind. Just riding the waves of your breath. Slowly press your hands into the floor. Begin to walk yourselves back here. Think about stacking your shoulders over your hips, your ears over your shoulders. Bring your fingertips around behind you. Draw your shoulder blades together. Lift up through your heart space. So we're lifting the rib cage away from the hip bones, shining the sternum up, and maybe you do a little swing here from left to right. Come on back through neutral. We're going to bring the opposite foot into the opposite thigh here. Square up over that leg. Square your shoulders up. Begin to come forward. Take your time. No hurry. Easy does it. No forcing. We'll take one more inhalation and exhalation here. Walk yourself up just a little ways. We're going to bring the forearm. You might be on your fingertips. You might be on your forearm with the palm turning up. Or maybe it comes down to the floor. All are good. And then we're going to take that right arm up and over. All are better than good. They're perfect. They're absolutely perfect because we're all different. We're going to make different shapes. Keep breathing. Now press down through your parts of the body that are on the floor. Sweep up. Let your left hand take your right knee. Let your right hand come around behind you. We're coming into spinal twisting here. If you have a little more room, you might begin to bring your right hand around to your left thigh here. Let's come on back through neutral here. We'll extend that leg out. Bring your hands around behind. Draw your shoulder blades together. Lift your heart space. Shining your sternum upward again. If it feels good for you to make movement, by all means. Come on back through the center here, stacking the joints. Walk your hands forward. Slow and easy does it. Take your time. Relax your face. Notice if it feels different this time, if there's more space to move into, if the breath is as even and smooth. Now come up just a little ways. We're going to bring the right fingertips or forearm onto the calf or shin or onto the floor. And then we're going to sweep this left arm, or opposite arm, I should say, up and over. I'm trying not to use left and right here. We're just doing the opposite side. And keep dialing your upper rib cage up. Stack your shoulders. Let's take one more breath here and press down. To come up, we're going to take the opposite foot into the opposite thigh. So we're on the other side here. Square your fingertips over that extended leg. Get tall. Begin to come forward. Pressing your fingertips or your hands into the earth, begin to come up. We'll take our right hand or our opposite hand to the opposite knee. The other hand comes around behind. You might be looking forward or to the side or back. And again, if there's more room to go, you can walk the opposite hand to the opposite thigh. Relax your shoulders. Keep breathing here. Let's begin to unwind from here. Extend the bent leg, maybe a little shake out. Why don't we roll those ankles a little bit? So just turn the ankles, use your breath. And then going the other way, slow and easy. Bring your hands around behind, draw your shoulder blades together, lift up through your heart space. And then come back into neutral here, walking one hand out to the side, sweep the other arm up and over here. So a little bit more lateral movement. We've done this a little, we'll do a little more. Pressing down through that hand so you can come up, and we're just going to take it other side. So the other hand comes down, the other arm comes up and over. And bring it on back through to center. Bring your hands around behind your knees. We're going to bring the legs up and together. Walk your feet in nice and close. Wrap your arms around. Take hold where you can take hold. Sit tall. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw. And then we're going to round the back here. Let your chin come in towards your throat. Round your back. So in this moment, if setting intention is part of your practice, please do. And keep thinking about breathing in more of what is nourishment for you. And letting those exhales be a release, a letting go of what isn't serving you. Now begin to unroll this spine. We're going to come to standing from here. So however you need to get yourself to standing, come on up. And I'm going to be using the center of my mat here. So standing in mountain pose. Let the fingertips reach down while the shoulder blades draw together. The back body squeezing ever so gently. The face is soft, ears over shoulders. Keep that smooth breath here. We're going to begin with a tree pose, and we're going to come back to tree pose a few times here. So begin by peeling up one heel and bringing your foot into your ankle, your calf, wherever it lands with some ease, where it's not a struggle. It might be wobbly, mine sure is. Hands can come out in front. Wherever it feels natural for you, there's no right positioning for the arms. Keep your eyes steady, keep breathing here. Now, I'm going to be bringing my hands down onto the waist. And if you have your arms up, this might be more practical to have your hands down a little lower. Begin to let your foot come away from your leg, extending it out to the side and leaning over. And then from here, we're just going to bend the standing leg, come down into wide legs here. Bring your hands around onto your low back, lift your heart space, squeeze those back body muscles, and then come forward just about halfway here. Extend the crown of your head. Elbows are reaching up. We're opening the chest here. And then begin to let your hands dangle down. Crown of the head towards the mat. And just nod the head out here. Nodding no. And nodding yes. So from here, I'm going to grab one of my blocks. Bringing the block or your hand directly under your face. So I'm bringing my left hand onto the block. And I'm going to bring my right hand on my palm onto the low back and begin to start dialing that right elbow up. I'm softening the opposite knee, getting a deep stretch. Keep breathing. Keep inviting in all that is good, positive, sweet, loving, kind. Releasing any hurtful, painful thoughts as you can. And I know it's not easy. We say that a lot. But just let it be like a gentle brush, just beginning to break up some of the scarring. Now, from here, square your shoulders. I'm dialing my right toes out to the right, my back, heel back, and I'm going to bring the block right inside of my right foot. Take that left arm up. So we're in triangle pose here, trying to stack the shoulders. And then slowly pressing down through your feet, using your feet as an anchor to come up, dialing all of the toes forward. And then from here, we're gonna step, I'm stepping my right to my left, coming back right into center here, right into mountain pose. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. And take a few deep breaths here. Notice how you're feeling. Feel your feet, peel your toes up. From here, we're coming into tree pose, other side. So this time I'm gonna be on my left. I said I was gonna try not to use left and right. It's hard. And then bringing it to your calf, your ankle, your thigh. Can be a very different experience from one side to the other. Any hand position is a perfect position. And then from here, I have my arms up. I'm going to bring them down onto my waist, taking my foot away from the leg, and then I'm leaning to the opposite side. Softening my standing legs so I can come into wide legs here. Bring your hands around onto your low back. Shine your sternum upward. We all have that light. Sometimes it's shining brighter than others. Begin to come up through the center. Come forward. Keep those elbows reaching up towards the sky. Extend through the crown of your head. And you just might soften your knees here. Begin to hinge all the way forward. Let your hands come down, crown of the head towards the mat here. And I'm just going to do a little swing left to right this time. If it feels good for you, by all means, you could be swaying your head. All right, stopping in the center. Right hand's going to come under your face. So it might come onto a block, it might come onto the floor. Bringing the left hand, in my case, my palm onto the low back, and beginning to dial the elbow up. And then softening my right knee just a bit. For me, I feel this in my leg that's elongated in the inner thigh. Really tight muscles there. And then begin to look down, square down, let your hand come down. We're going to transition into the triangle. So I'm dialing my left toes to the left and my back heel's turning back, bringing the block inside of my ankle, fingertips on the block, reach the arm up. So a lot of times I see people bringing hands to the floor and then the whole torso comes forward. So we actually want to stack our torso over the thigh here. So if you find you have your hand on the floor, but your torso is coming forward, maybe back it up and bring your hand onto a block or onto the shin. All right, we're going to press down through the feet, come up nice and slow. Bring the toes back forward, and we're just going to step together. Let your hands come down by your sides, release your face. We're going to come back into the tree pose again. This time, come back to your first leg, peel up the heel, and bring the knee out in front. And your toes could definitely be on the floor here, definitely be on the floor. And then we're going to open that knee up and come into our tree pose, just coming into it a little different, right? There's a lot of different ways to do a thing. Notice if you're tensing in your shoulders, if you can relax your shoulders, relax the gaze of your eyes. And then bringing the hands down, I'm bringing them onto my waist, taking the foot away and just stepping it out to the right so that we're in a wide stance here. Lift your heart space. And then come on back through neutral here. I'm using my right foot, dialing my right toes forward, back, heel back. Square your shoulders to the right. We're gonna come into warrior one here. So really feel your feet. The feet are the foundation of this posture. And then we're gonna open it up, warrior two. The right arm will come forward, the left arm will come back. So gazing out over those front fingertips. Feel your feet here. Let your back hand come onto your back thigh. Front arms coming up and over. Straighten through the front leg. And then come back up through center into star pose. Dial your toes forward here. Bring your hands around behind the neck, interlace your hands, open your elbows wide, lift up. As you exhale, elbows in, hinge forward, soften your knees. And I'm gently swaying my head from left to right, letting my hands work as traction here. Release your hands. Let your hands come down to the floor. Bring them onto the waist. Come up halfway. Come up all the way. Step your feet back to home base. Back into mountain pose. Strong, steady, unwavering. Finding your gaze. Notice if there's tension in the shoulders here. And then from here, we're gonna do the same movements, other side. So let's pick up the opposite heel, lift the heel. You might be on your toes here, it's all good. Let that knee open out to the side, and then we're gonna bring the foot to our leg, wherever it lands, into the tree pose. Letting the hands come back down onto the waist. Let the foot come away from the thigh. Dial the knee forward. We're going to extend the leg. Big step out. All the toes are pointing forward. Bring your hands onto your low back. Lift your heart here. Your chin might lift here as well. And then come on back through center. I'm dialing my left toes towards the end of the mat, the other heel's going back here. Dialing my shoulders, bending the front knee, and sweeping the arms up for warrior one. Can you find equal parts of effort and relaxation here? Let your left arm come forward, your right arm come back, unless you're doing the other side. Where can you let go and where can you fire up? Let your back hand come down, left arm comes up and over. And then just straightening that front leg. And reaching up through the arm, dialing the toes forward. Bring your hands onto your low back. Lift your heart space. Come over halfway. Halfway, so really fire up your legs, your feet. Extend the crown of your head forward. Come all the way forward here, let your head go. And we're gonna come into a wide-legged down dog here. So walk your hands forward. The hands are pressing down and forward like you're trying to stretch the floor or the mat forward. And then begin to walk your hands in. From here, we're going to take our left hand over to the outside of the right leg somewhere. It might be the thigh, the knee, the calf, the ankle. And then walk the other hand forward. Give yourself a nudge. Releasing. And we're just going to change sides here. So I'm bringing my right hand to the left leg. It can be on the thigh, the knee, calf, ankle, left arm reaches out in front. Beginning to unwind here. Begin to walk your hands in, heel, toe, your feet until they're touching. Bring your big toes to touch here. Lift your heels, let your hips come down, only if the knees are agreeable. They know knees are a great teacher, right? Ooh, wobbly. So your hands can stay out in front. You can challenge your balance by maybe bringing your hands to your heart or sweeping your arms up over your head. Now, if you'd like to challenge yourself, see about coming up to stand from right here. Big deep breath. Steeple your fingertips and lean over to your right. And then we're going to come over to the left. Or to the other side. I said I was going to try not to use left and right, and my grammar there was horrible. Come on back through center. Let your arms float down. But like I said, it's hard for me not to. Let's give that a wiggle, shake out. And then from here, we're going to come back into that squatting balance, only if it's acceptable for your knees. If it's not, just come on to seated. It's all good. So bringing fingertips out in front. My big toes are touching. Fingertips down, heels up. Hips towards the heels. And then you might begin to work on bringing your shoulders over your hips. Hands can come out in front. Maybe they come overhead. It's all good. Take one more breath here. Release your hands down. And bring yourself into a seated position. I'm going to extend the legs. Lean back on the hands and just give those ankles a little love from that balancing. So if you're turning, then turn the other way a few times. You could be pointing and flexing. All right. From here, bend your knees. Let your feet come to the earth, about hips width apart. Hands behind. Draw those shoulder blades together. Lift your heart space. Press down through your feet. And just lift your hips here. Squeeze and lift. And then come on down. And then one more time. Squeeze and lift. We're going to hold for 3 of our breaths. And coming down, slow and easy. Does it here. Walk your arms around your legs. Let your chin come in towards your throat. Round your back. Using your feet as your anchor, press down as you begin to uncurl the spine. Leave one arm on the front of your legs. Let the other hand come behind. Begin to spinal twist here. Come on back through neutral. We're just going to change sides. So other arm or hand takes the front of the legs. The other hand comes behind. You might be having a snap, crackle, pop effect like I do. So getting that nice twist in here. And then from here, we're gonna unwind and prepare for Shavasana. I have a few props out. So if you have props, they're such a great tool to use in relaxation. I'm gonna take the blanket and just make a roll that I'm gonna have under my neck, and then I'm gonna use my blocks. I also have a bolster here that could be used under the knees if that feels good for you. So if you're taking the roll of the blanket, just take it right under your neck. Oh, that feels so good. And then I'm gonna take the blocks and bring them right below my glutes. So I like this. It may not feel good for you. If it doesn't, then let those blocks go. Maybe you bend your knees. For some people, that feels better for the back. So, and I also have an eye pillow. So this has, I think, some flax seed in it. You could use anything to cover your eyes. I'm just going to place it right over and try to equalize the weight over my left and my right eye here. Let your arms come to where it feels natural for you here. Come back to scan your body and notice where there might be some tightness or tension. And give yourself permission to relax. And even when we give ourselves permission, it's not like it's all going to go away. We didn't accumulate this tension and tightness overnight. It's not going to go away overnight. But again, just like this little sweeping, like you're just dusting it up a little bit, breaking up some of the scarring. If you need to scan your body a few times to soften and release, then by all means do that. When you do feel comfortable, resist the urge to move or fidget. And begin to turn your attention towards your breath. Long, slow, smooth. So we're not manipulating the breath in any way here. We are just observing how our breath behaves when our physical body relaxes. And if you start planning or list making or reminiscing, come back and relax your physical body again. And tune into your breath again. This is called practice, right? So we keep doing these things over and over and over again. So staying here for as long as you like, taking advantage of this deep stillness and rest. When you feel this is complete for you and no time limit, just begin to invite back some gentle movements. and do what feels right for you. If you like resting on your side for a bit to absorb the juice of your practice, by all means do that.